The hell is this?
What's in the box?
What have we got in this box? Oh, hang on. Ooh, what's this?
We have a letter, and I know immediately who it's from because it's addressed to Hermione, which means it can only be from Sid. Cock. He's written it in crayon.
Gentlemen, alongside this note, you should have a package of goodies. It's nice to see our postal service have paid attention to the warnings on the box, but never mind.
Even though it's only small, what's inside is really quite special.
Inside this box, you will find all the things you need for our next Polyhedron Collider painting challenge.
I see. This time we have applied Steve's patent-pending notch cranker. Yes, gentlemen, we have an exclusive.
Your miniature this time is the Day 1 exclusive dragon miniature from the upcoming Avalon the Riven Veil Kickstarter from Shadowbourne Games. Oh wow, we'll get to that in a second.
But that's not all. Oh no. This time we are going big and we are teaming up with two thin coats who have kindly given you each an introductory paint set.
And that, gentlemen, if I had my way, would be all the equipment you get to complete this challenge. However, I have been forced to relent on the technicality and allow you access to a primer and mediums of your choice.
You have until the Kickstarter launch to complete your challenge. I'm assuming he means the Shadowbourne Kickstarter. Your time starts now. Sid.
Well, thank you, Sid.
Right. P.S. Don't fuck it up. Thank you very much, Sid. Right. Should we have a look at this mini?
Well, let's see what's in this thing.
A box, which probably shouldn't shake. And some boxes of paints.
Ooh, two thin coat starter set.
2 boxes of paints. 2 thin coats introduction set box 1. And 2 thin coats introduction set box 2. So
More protective padding and then more.
Oh, wait. We have a dragon.
that is really quite nice.
And then we have this dragon.
The dragon. And the paints. Let's see what happens.
Oh, that's going to be a bastard to paint.
Transatlantic Minis currently centres 12 separate paints from the 2 thin coats range. These are White Star, Doom Death Black, Skulker Yellow, Fanatic Orange, Sanguine Scarlet, Amethyst Rain, a purple, Marine Blue, Emerald Green, and Scorched Earth, which is a brown. Sir Coates Silver and Dragon Gold, and a wash in the form of Battle Mud Wash.
And that's about it. There's going to be a lot of mixing involved in here.
Now, first thing I want to do is check out some of the way in which the combinations of these colours mix. So my wife had seen this thing on Instagram where you basically mix them in a grid. So I thought I'd give it a go. So all I did with this was just a mix of 50-50 of each colour in a grid combination to see what kind of colours resulted and, you know, what kind of depth of variation did I actually have with this limited palette. What really stood out to me is by mixing the white and the yellow, the Skulker Yellow, came up with a really vibrant yellow. I was quite surprised that it didn't desaturate much, which suggests the yellow was really powerful. Also, I found that mixing the blue and the green came up with a really lovely blue-green colour, which is to be expected really because they're quite close on the colour wheel.
Let's face it, I am not as ambitious a painter as Andy or Steve. I'm not as experienced or skillful, really. I think both of them are fantastic painters. So whereas I think they're going to be doing these object source lighting.
Pose of the dragon sat atop a rock. I'm looking at that thinking it really needs to be some kind of lava or magma. That way we can brighten that rock up, make it really stand out, and it gives me the chance to do something really simple like, you know, OSL, which is, you know, notoriously straightforward.
And what I thought about was a dragon standing on top of the hill, lording it over the village he's just set on fire. You know, like Smaug over Lake Town. Have the flames licking up on one side and the moonlight illuminating the other, giving you this cold and warm contrast coming from two separate angles.
Well, I'm going to stick with simple. I'm going to do it simple. I'm going to do it as well as I possibly can using simple, straightforward painting techniques.
Given that we're supposed to be testing out this paint set, and there are a couple of metallics in there, why not go for the big one? The Golden Dragon. So I can put in some OSL with metallic paint on a magma flow, on an imposing model with lots of detail, with a difficult effect. What could possibly go wrong?
I needed a guide and I needed colour, and I knew I was going to be painting yellow onto a black undercoat, so of course I need some white. So traditionally one would do a zenithal highlight, white from above, but I'm doing white from below here to represent the light glowing up from beneath. So rather than a zenithal, is this a nadiral undercoat? Now what I did here is I mixed the two thin coat paints 50-50 with my thinning agent. Now my thinning agent is a premix bottle here, which is about 7 parts airbrush thinner to 3 parts flow improver, and it went through the airbrush beautifully. I mean, not a clog, not a splatter. I also mixed up a blue, green and white mix, again 50-50 with thinner, and went through absolutely beautifully. Then I now had a model that on one side had a blue-green zenithal and on the other side a white nadiral. I'm sticking to this idea. Now, take a note of this because I think that this looked better and I ruined it later. Let's see.
I've sprayed the underside with a mixture of gold, orange, yellow and a bit of black just to kind of mute it a little bit because I don't want it too shiny. What we're going to do is we're going to actually sheen up and brighten up the areas that are illuminated with yellow or increasing amounts of yellow and orange paint, obviously mixed in with the gold. Now I've kind of underpainted it a little bit here with a bit of purple because obviously purple is its shade tone, so it looks a little sort of brown and bronzy at the moment, but that is deliberate.
And for me, if I'm thinking of a dragon from Arthurian legend, I think green. So that's where I've started. I've done a base of green, and I'm going to start lightening this up now and bringing out and picking out that detail of the scales and the hide. I've started, still a long way to go, but that's where I'm going with it. So wish me luck.
With my undercoats in place, it really was a quite straightforward process for then. I mixed a blend of white, yellow, orange, red, brown going through that transition, mixed in some glaze medium, and basically put the colours going from light to dark using that white nadiral, I'm sticking to it, undercoat to help guide where the colour should go. And if I wasn't sure, just look down the model and see where you would see from below, going from these different colours through the gradient, blending each as I went. I then used a green and blue but a dark undercoat, and also mixed up a fleshy tone for the top wings. Now this is where I think I may have ruined my previous work, because I then decided to dry brush the colours in from above, and I don't think it looked as the airbrush, and I think what I should have done was actually gone back and just airbrushed that side. But I stuck to my guns and stuck to my dry brushing because I wanted to pick out the detail. From then it was just a case of just tidying things up, picking out brighter highlights, using that white and yellow mix that I found during that mixing test, and picking up the glints that are highest highlights on the base of the rock and the underside of the dragon, and then going on the other side, deepening up the shadows, making sure that the colours blend in and smoothing out any transitions which have been rough on that first wet blend.
I suppose I'm going to be inspired by Mother Nature. So I'm looking at things like the Chinese tree viper. I want to be looking at the iguana. The way I want to pick out the spines and do the wings is going to be like the frill of an iguana, or like the Chinese frilled dragon lizard. That's how I want to do the wings, and try and make this as a bit more grounded, and I suppose less fantastical.
And with that, it is time for the grand...
Can't say that, Steve.
What am I not allowed to say?
That's a Squidmar copyright.
There you have it, 3 painted dragons. Let us know in the comments which one you prefer. I'd like to send a big thanks to Transatlantic Games for providing us with these paints, and to Shadowbourne Games for providing us with this, quite frankly, awesome dragon mini. If you want to grab hold of this mini for yourself, don't forget it is the Day 1 Kickstarter exclusive on the Ashen the Riven Veil board game, which is hitting Kickstarter on 12th of November. We've played it, and if you want to know what we think, then you're going to have to listen to the podcast. Until then, though, happy gaming.